Do you know the 14 traits of successful chiropractors? We've interviewed some of the top chiropractors in the industry and have identified the common traits that they all share. Jump on over to www.chirobusinessmojo.com to get your free report today.
Welcome to the Chiro Business Mojo podcast, where we deconstruct the methods, marketing, and mindset of successful business people and chiropractors from around the world. And now your host, Dr. Richard Day.
That guy tells it like it is. I am Dr. Richard Day, and this is the Chiro Business Mojo podcast. Well, today I've got a guest who makes his home in Maui, Hawaii, which I think is pretty cool. It's nice to know that I now have a friend in Maui. His name is Dr. Russ Rosen, and he's a graduate of Cleveland Chiropractic College. He was a valedictorian in his class and ran one of the largest practices in Hawaii for 14 years. His high-volume, straight-adjusting practice utilized the triad of health model. He's certified in discovery coaching and has been a teacher and student of personal growth and human potential for more than 30 years. He's best known for his patient care versus patient scare wellness communication systems. He served as lead author and director of Dr. Patrick Gentempo's Creating Wellness Management System. He's lectured for CLA, CWA, Parker Seminars, and others as he shares his vision throughout the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. He's the proud recipient of the CLA CWA's 2007 Lifetime Achievement Award and Dr. Patrick Gentempo Jr.'s CLA CWA CEO States, established in 2000. He founded Rosen Coaching in 2000, and today he runs Optimal Health Chiropractic System. Welcome, Dr. Russell Rosen.
Well, Dr. Day, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and really excited to share some really great content with your listeners. So let's rock and roll.
Well, I invite you to jump in and fill in any of that gaps I might have missed when I was going over your bio.
No, you got it. Let's do it, baby.
All right. Well, I'm excited as well. And, in a nutshell, you've been helping chiropractors for a while. You're called Optimal Health Chiropractic System. And why don't you tell us about Optimal Health Chiropractic System?
Yeah, listen, I personally ran a very successful practice in what I call an optimal health model, meaning we want to help people get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime, not just out of pain. I got nothing against docs who want to work with just pain people, a pain-based kind of practice. But what turned me on was helping people get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime. So about 16 years ago, I started coaching, and the optimal healthcare system is really all about helping doctors who want to empower their patients to thrive in a care versus scare, true optimal health model. We don't want to use scare tactics. We don't want to use manipulation. We do want to empower our patients, those who want to use us, to have a healthy functioning nervous system and a reasonable lifestyle so they can really have the best life possible. So doctors who want to help patients have the best life possible love working with us.
Well, you've talked to a ton of people in your experience, and what's the most common thing that you see that's keeping chiropractors from being successful?
Oh, man, it's such a huge it's such a huge question, Dr. Day. And here's the scoop. A moment ago, preamble, you and I were talking about chiropractors being the best kept secret. We're the best kept secret, and it's our fault. There is absolutely no question in my mind, if everyone understood what you and I understood about the value of chiropractic care, about the value of a healthy functioning nervous system, about the value of a reasonable lifestyle, most everybody would be seeing us. They would want to see us. They would see the value. The problem is they don't get it. So one of the biggest issues is they don't understand what we do, and that's on us. It's no one else's fault but our own. So one of the biggest problems is most chiropractors, when I'm coaching chiropractors, Dr. Angie and myself, we look at two things always: headspace and procedure. The headspace is the why behind the how. This is, why am I doing this? It's, what are my belief systems? It's, what do I believe to be true? More often than not, when I dig deep with doctors about their belief systems, they're built on faulty premises. When it's built on a faulty premise, everything from that point on can't work. So, step one is I need to be clear about who I am, what I do, and what I'm trying to accomplish. That's number one. Number two is I need congruent strategies to get there. So you're in Kansas City?
Yes.
And if you want to get to Maui and you said, I think I'm going to go for a drive, I'll go for a bit of a walk, I'll go for a swim, and I think I'll get there. I would say that's probably not a good strategy to get here. I don't think you're going to make it. Whereas if you said, I'm going to the airport, I'm going to fly to LAX is going to take me to Maui, Russ is going to pick me up, we're going to go out and surf. Far out, that'll work. So I need to make sure that I'm clear about who I am, what I do, where I want to get to. And then I need to make sure that the strategies I'm using are congruent and they make sense. More often than not, when doctors are not having success, it's one of these or both of these, because here's what you and I know to be true. If your practice is healthy, in essence, you don't have a subluxated practice, your natural state is growth. You're helping people, they're happy, they're telling their friends. If every aspect of your practice, what we call the 5 systems, if all 5 systems are congruent and clear, and they're not subluxated, we are going to sustain growth. If we're not sustaining growth, understand that we are subluxated, somewhere between our headspace and our procedures, probably both.
Well, you talked a little bit about the value we have and what it is that we do, and that we're not very good at getting that message out. So that's a communication thing as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Step 1 is, when I ask most chiropractors, what is it that you do? What is chiropractic? I get one of 2 answers. Here's the first one. And then I say, well, no wonder. Like this is what you do for a living, and you can't even express what it is that you do. Or
hey Doc, it cut out when you said that first answer.
Yeah, it didn't cut out. That is the answer. It's nothing. I get empty, dead air. That's what I get.
Okay.
Or I get a lay lecture. But most chiropractors have a very difficult time expressing what chiropractic is and why they do chiropractic and why a patient may want to see you. And until they get clear about that, how are they possibly going to communicate it with another human being? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. And I'm thinking about it. And, if a person's in practice, they went through chiropractic school, they've been practicing for a while, personally, I don't understand how it is that they don't know what their purpose is. But obviously, that is a problem. So let's say you meet someone, they've got that problem, they don't have a clear purpose, an understanding of what they're doing, who they are. What are the steps that you take them through to gain clarity?
I just start, and see, this is so funny. I get that you don't get that because you're successful. But you get all these people out there, and I promise you, the average chiropractor out there, the vast majority of them, when I ask them a question, who are you? What do you do? What is chiropractic? Very few of them can give me a very clear answer. What do I do? What's the value? So I just started asking them very specific questions. What is chiropractic? It's an art. Oh, okay, cool. Well, what is chiropractic? Well, what do you do as a chiropractor? Crack necks. Okay. Well, what do you do as a chiropractor? I just keep asking questions until I help them get clear. Let's play with this. So to you, Richard, what is chiropractic? What is it that you do? Why would a patient want to see you?
Well, I have a one-sentence version of it, but as I optimize people's health so that they can live life to the fullest, pain-free, and as healthy as is possible. Beautiful.
I optimize health so they can live pain-free and have the best life possible? What was that?
Yeah, have the best life possible. Maintain optimum health.
Yeah, beautiful. So you clearly have given that thought. That didn't just come to you one day. You've actually given it thought. Personally, I've written over 200 pages to come down to my wrap. Right? It's simplicity on the far side of complexity. Right? I can go on. I literally have in my system, my level 1 program, I have 40 hours of core material and 50 hours of bonus material. It's all me speaking. I mean, it's 90 hours of recorded material. Simplicity on the far side of complexity is I can make it simple like you just made it. That was beautiful. So what I would do is I would start asking doctors questions until they could say something like that. Let me give you a version. If I was to be able to walk through a process with a doc, more often than not, we get to, well, what could somebody hope for if they saw you? What is chiropractic? Any of those questions. So this is my experience. If I can get a patient to say this at the end of the examination, I guarantee you can change your whole life. And it's called the whole story. And this is what it would sound like. As a patient, I understand that I have subluxations that could be causing my headaches or chief complaint, as well as all these other things, sinus problems, indigestion, PMS, coated tongue, pain down the leg. Like, wow, no one ever told me that before. So I understand I have subluxations that could be causing my chief complaint as well as other issues. I understand most likely what brought the subluxations on in the first place. I understand that if I don't get the subluxations taken care of over time, the odds are they worsen. If we can correct the subluxations and learn ways not to recreate them, I understand that the odds are I could feel better. I could prevent problems in the future. I could reverse the effects of the aging process or be healthier in 5 years than I am right now. And I could have a better life. I recognize that subluxations are a health problem. They're not a back problem. I want to get healthy and stay healthy. And I understand that by seeing you, you can help me get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime. So here's my first question to you, Richard. 1, what I just said, is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible that most people, if they're subluxated, and you can help correct their subluxations and show them ways not to recreate it by eating well, exercising, and dealing with stress, could most of them feel better?
Yes.
Now, are we positive that every single person that comes to see us, no matter what, they're going to feel better? Are we positive about that?
No.
Of course not. Come on, you're kidding yourself. And this is where we have problems. Because you go to the seminars and it's just adjust and it's, I adjusted this guy and he regrew a limb. And then we go back to our practice and we have people who are not moving along as we would expect. We have people who are not getting well. And if you're not acknowledging that, you're a liar. You're lying to yourself. Because if you were that one person that every single person got well under your care, you can walk on water. And trust me, I'm surrounded by water in Maui. I haven't seen it yet. So the truth is most people can feel better. The odds are they can feel better, right? Could they prevent problems in the future? Is that true?
Yeah, they could. Can't guarantee.
Now, does that mean everybody's going to never have a problem under your watch? Come on, if you've been practicing for any period of time, people have come in, they've had heart attacks, they've had strokes, they've had cancer. That's how life is. But the odds are that we can increase the chances of them having healthier future. Could we reverse the effects of the aging process? Could they be healthier in 5 years than they are right now? Of course. Could they have a better life if they were under your care? Yes, of course. Am I positive? Come on, you could get hit by a truck tomorrow. I don't know. But I'm suggesting the odds are, if they're under your care, they're going to have a better life. Do you buy that?
I do.
All right. So if this is true, and you could get a patient to say out loud, I have subluxations, it could be causing these things as well as all these other things that I never told you. I know what brought it on. I understand what happens if I don't get it taken care of. I get what happens if I get it taken care of. I got a health problem, not a back problem. If you got your patients to say that out loud and understand that by the end of the examination, would that change your experience?
My experience as a provider?
Yes.
Yes, it would.
Yes. For most doctors out there, They are saying, absolutely. If I could get my patients to fully understand this and say it out loud, to fully believe it and to tell me, I want to get healthy and stay healthy under your care by the end of the examination, I promise you a different life. If all of your patients really understood this, and all of my patients understood it, and all of our patients understood it, the whole world would change. There would be a paradigm shift. What you and I were talking about earlier of getting, if everyone really understood the value of chiropractic care, we would have a whole different experience. We wouldn't be, every once in a while someone comes to see us because they have neck pain. People would come to see us to get healthy and stay healthy. We wouldn't be this back of the bus mentality that we have. Our whole world, our world as well as the world would change if we could just get people to understand this simple concept. Do you buy that?
Yes, I do.
Me too. So step one is we need to understand, what do we do? You know, I help people get healthy, stay healthy, and have the best life possible. That's my version. You had a really cool version too. You know, when I'm working with docs, I help you tailor make that to your niche market. But really, that's what I do. How do I do it? I correct nerve interference and show people ways not to recreate the same problems. If I do, what can they hope for? They could feel better, prevent problems, reverse the effects of the aging process, and have a better life. That's what I do. That's what chiropractic is. And if people understand the value of that, then the odds are they're going to be happy to pay you cash for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that one.
The second piece of this is, how do I communicate it? So step one is, what is my truth? So when I ask doctors what their truth is and what chiropractic is, we can spend, an hour or two on helping them clear up the BS, their belief systems that are not based on truth. But once we get down to something this clear, like yours or the one that I just laid out, now I have to learn how to communicate it with other human beings. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got what you're saying, and I'm going where you're going.
All right. So I downloaded your book. Really cool. Your tips, 14 tips. Really, really cool stuff. I agree with every single one of them. One of them you talked about psychology, understanding patient psychology.
Right.
All right. Here's the deal. One of my key focuses, and again, Lifetime Achievement Award from Pat and Chris for this, is communication. And the reality is that there's something called the neuroscience of communication. And if you don't understand the neuroscience of communication, the odds are you're going to keep having the same problems that you keep having, which is people don't get it. I hear this all the time. People don't get it. It's so frustrating when your patients don't get it, especially when it's that simple. The neuroscience of communication is very clear. All we're trying to do is get people to say yes who want to say yes. I'm not trying to manipulate people to say yes who want to say no. I'm not trying to make you do something you don't want to do. I'm not trying to scare you into care. But for the people who do want what I offer, I want to be able to communicate with you in a way that gets you to say yes. And know this. There are things that we as chiropractors do that cause people to say no who wanted to say yes. They literally walked in wanting what we do, but we screwed it up. Do you buy that?
I do, and I'm going to ask you to give us an example.
Okay. Have you ever had a patient that came in and you're doing your visit one with them, or you're doing your visit two with them, and it looks like they're with you, and then all of a sudden you saw their eyes glaze over and they're not with you anymore?
Yeah.
You broke a rule. There are certain laws, and you broke one of them or more. And when you did that, you shut them down. Here's an example. One of my favorite books, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. And he has 6 basic laws. And if you break any of these laws, you will cause people to say no. You will shut them down. And they wanted to say yes. If you understand these laws, your whole world changes. Here's an example. He did a study where he had like 3,000 people at a restaurant, and he had waiters and waitresses learn these scripts. And basically, here's what he did. patron at the restaurant would say, I'd like a ham on rye, hold the mayo. If the wait staff said, you like a ham on rye with no mayo, they lost 23% of their tip. Person said, I'd like a ham on rye, hold the mayo. The waiter said, you'd like a ham on rye with no mayo. They lost 23% of their tip. How did that happen?
I'm guessing that they did not use the words or phraseology that the person or the patron used.
Exactly. They said with no mayo instead of hold the mayo. Now, Robert Cialdini has proven that when you echo people and you use their words, they feel like you're in their inner circle and they like you better. And if they like you better, the chances are they'll believe you. And if they believe you, the chances are they'll buy from you. Now, clearly, the people didn't say, this waiter sucks. He didn't say hold the mayo. He said with no mayo. I'm going to reduce his tip 23%. They just had a gut feeling, and that feeling caused them not to tip. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the challenge. You and I were told to tell the story. Just get out and tell the story. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Here's the problem. No one wants to be told. We got a problem. Get out and tell the story, but no one wants to be told. Right? Richard, do you have kids?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do your kids want to be told?
And they do not.
Okay, no one wants to be told. Trust me, no one wants to be told, but we're told to tell the story. So when we understand the neuroscience of communications, this is just amazing stuff, and I'm asking you to lean forward and listen because this can change your life. What you and I were taught to do is speak from neocortex to neocortex. Now, there's 4 parts of the brain that we need to understand. One is the reptilian brain. So, Richard, do you remember any of what the reptilian brain does for a living?
Is it the fight or flight? I should know this better.
Yeah, okay. Reptilian brain is filter. All information comes in. This is reptilian early brain. All information goes through the reptilian brain before it makes it up through the midbrain and the neocortex, which is the new brain, right? The neocortex does thinking and reasoning. That's what the neocortex does for a living. But the reptilian brain is all about fight or flight. It's all about food, fornication, and fighting. And hopefully you're not food, fornicating, or fighting with your patients. So if you're not doing those 3 things, you've got to do something to get your information past the reptilian brain, because more than 99% of all information coming up does not make it past the reptilian brain. It does not make it to the neocortex. So far, so good?
Yep.
All right. Here's the problem. If it doesn't make it to the neocortex, it doesn't register and they didn't hear it. You and I, all of us listening, have been in class and we were snoring and the teacher, and this is what you heard. Wah, 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 and that'll be on the test. Your reptilian brain filtered and said, wake up. This is important. Now, you didn't hear anything before it, so you're in trouble. But you sure heard that'll be on the test. You've got parents that are sleeping in a bed with a crying, with a child right next to a train station, and the trains don't wake them up, but their baby cries 2 rooms down and it wakes them up. That's the reptilian brain. Richard, are you with me so far?
I am.
We need to get our information past the reptilian brain into the neocortex. If the neocortex reasons the information makes sense, it will send it to the limbic system where we have a new belief system. I need Rosenites. I need my patients to not only understand the value of chiropractic care, I need them to believe it. I need them to become part of my movement. That's all going to happen from the emotional limbic system. So far, so good?
Yep.
All right. Here's the problem. What you and I were taught to do in all of the scripts that we have of how we tell our patients and tell them again tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them, is we were taught to speak to the neocortex from our neocortex. Just tell them, reason with them, make it make sense to them. That's what we were told, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have proof that that doesn't work. Here's the proof. What percentage of the people are seeing chiropractors?
14% is the latest I've seen.
14% may have at one time seen a chiropractor, but if you do the math on it, they are not active patients. There's not enough chiropractors. You'd be seeing 10,000 people a day. The math on this is very clear. It's less than 1.5%.
Wow, that's shocking.
Okay, I mean, again, if you just do the math on this, you're going to see, well, take a look in your area. How many people do you have in your area?
In this area, I'm going to say we have about 300,000.
Okay, so help me with math because I suck. So 15% of 300,000 would be 60,000?
45,000.
45,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how many chiropractors in your area?
Boy, in my immediate area, there are plenty because we're near Cleveland Chiropractic.
Oh, okay. But still, you start to do the math, man, that's 1,000 people a day. It's just, there's no way we're seeing anywhere near that number of people. Regardless, the vast majority of people out there who have been told the story are not under regular active chiropractic care. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So telling the story to the neocortex doesn't work. We have to understand that we need to speak to the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain will then say, ooh, this is important. This is new. This is novel. This is exciting. I'm going to send this up to the neocortex. When it goes to the neocortex, I promise you, the neocortex will go, well, dang it, that makes sense. Chiropractic makes sense. The problem is we never get it up to their neocortex. They don't get it. They shake their head while they're drooling, right? So again, if we don't speak through the reptilian brain to the neocortex, it never makes it to the limbic system and they don't buy it. I get it. You got a handful of people that do get it and do buy it, but I'm going to suggest you have a wall of fame. You have a trophy case of patient files of people that you've seen that you thought got it but didn't. I'm really speaking to all of us out there. I had a great one of those. You guys buying what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm thinking of something, though. I want to know, how do we do that?
Yeah, good. Good question. So here's the deal. We must engage the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is filtering all information, and here's basically what it's saying. If it's not dangerous, ignore it. If it's not new and exciting, ignore it. If it is new, I want you to summarize it really quickly because I don't want a whole lot of detail. Don't send it up for problem solving unless you have a situation that is really unexpected and out of the ordinary. So, how do we do that? Well, instead of telling people, we're going to ask people. We must use the Socratic Method. If I just tell my patients, the odds are at a point they will glaze over and start to drool. But if I'm asking them questions that make them say, they're staying engaged with me. There's two kinds of questions. An informational question. Richard, what is your last name?
Day. D-A-Y.
Did you learn anything new or did you already know that?
Nope, already knew it.
Great. Informational question. Here's a Socratic question. So, Richard, let me ask you a question. What do you think brought this on in the first place? Hey, Richard, let me ask you a question. Why do you think this keeps going on and on? Richard, let me ask you a question. You've seen the medical doctor. You've been taking these drugs for 6 years. It's only getting worse. Does it seem like you're getting to the underlying cause of the problem? Those are Socratic questions which make them think. Every one of those questions made you go, I wonder what is bringing this on. I wonder if I am resolving this problem. When you say, and you think, it gets past the reptilian brain. By definition, if they're thinking about it, it made it to the neocortex. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
So in our work, we have a series of questions we walk people through to help them recognize that they either want care or they don't. I'm not going to try and make someone do something they don't want to do. I just want to find out what they want. Now, here's a challenge. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
All right, here's a challenge. There's a gap. There's a huge gap between what most people think when they come in to see a chiropractor, which most often is what?
What most people think when they come in to see a chiropractor?
Yes.
That they're going to have to be there forever.
Okay, that might be it, but why are they going to see a chiropractor?
Because something hurts and they want to get out of pain.
Yep. I hope you can help my neck pain, back pain, or headaches. I hope you can do it as fast as possible, and I hope you don't make me come in for a lifetime. Like, that's what the classic person thinks when they come to see a chiropractor. Okay? Here's what we know. We can help you get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime. We can help you have a different and better experience of life. You live your life through your nervous system, and a subluxated nervous system leads to a subluxated life. I'm going to suggest what we understand about what we can do for them and what they think we can do for them is the Grand Canyon. Would you agree?
Yep.
Therefore, we need to meet them where they're at, and we need to Socratically walk them across the bridge to the other side so that they can say, boy, I understand I have subluxations. It could be causing these headaches. Wow, as well as my sinus issues, indigestion, and pain down my leg. I can't believe no one ever told me that. And I really understand what brought it on. And man, I got to tell you, if we don't get these taken care of, it makes sense to me that things would progressively worsen. And I got to tell you, it makes sense if we were to get proper nerve supply, if I was to correct the present damage that I have, and I was to have a reasonable lifestyle, I could not only feel better and prevent problems in the future, but I literally could reverse the effects of the aging process and have a better life. I get that I have a health problem. I get that it's not a back problem. And I honestly want to get healthy and stay healthy. That is the other side of the Grand Canyon, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So if they come in with, can you help me with my neck pain? And they leave the exam with that whole story, we've begun to help them get a better picture. Does it mean they're a Rosenite? No. But the odds are I'm close. In the report of findings, I'm literally going to find out what they want. See, what you and I were taught to do is tell them what they need. Find out what they want and tell them how to have it. Right? We were taught one of two things. Find out what they want, tell them how to have it, or just tell them what they need.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Trust me. From a reptilian brain perspective, it doesn't work. Wouldn't you rather find out what they want in relationship to what you can do for them? One of the mentors that I had, I really like a lot. I won't use his name because this will put him in a bad light. But he used to talk about find out what they want, get rid of neck and back pain, and show them how to have it. You're going to crack their neck and they'll become a crack addict. And I just could never buy that because we have such a bigger vision of what we can do for them. So I don't want to just find out what they want and show them how to have it. I want to find out what they want in relationship to what I can do for them. So if through my visit one process, I help them experience this whole story, now they understand this bigger picture. Now all I have to find out is what they want. So we literally take them through a very quick process and we go, look, path to optimal health, -10, near death. 0, feeling good, not functioning at our optimum, If we redid all your tests, it'd still be things that aren't working right, but you're feeling good. Plus 10, optimal health. We're feeling great. We're functioning at our optimum. We redo all the tests. They're clear. All I need to know is where you think you're at the moment, how healthy you want to get to, and then we'll show you a plan to get there. This is very different than saying you need lifetime care. You need a year of care. If someone just wants to get out of pain, does a year of care make sense?
No, and I think you're going to engage that reptilian pushback.
You have to. They look at you like you're crazy, and they go out and tell all their friends. This dude was a religious zealot, crazy dude. Whereas if you start with, where do you want to get to? And they go, I just want to feel better. And you go, far out. I can help you do that. I'm curious why you wouldn't want to resolve these things. But, talk to me. And they go, no, look, with what's going on in my life right now, I just want to feel better. Far out. This is what you need to do to just feel better. Find out what they want, show them how to have it. Or they say, you know what? I really would like to get healthy and stay healthy. Far out. Then this is what you would need to do to get there.
I want to go back to something that you said. You kind of touched on the fact that people have short attention spans, and they're not always engaged in listening to what it is we say. So when you're laying out this Socratic method and you're taking someone through the Q&A, how long do you devote to that? Well, that's all the time we have for now. Be sure to check out part 2 of our amazing interview with Dr. Russell Rosen.
Thanks for listening to the Chiro Business Mojo podcast at www.chirobusinessmojo.com.